And is there anything you'd like us to focus on in particular today?
For me, I'm like sometimes it's like everything right now, it's like Corona. We are restricted area here in Germany, and it's also the election in your country.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because there are so many, I don't know, you look everywhere, you got informations here and you got informations there, and I'm not the one who just looks at one piece.
Yeah.
I try to get like a picture from everything, but I don't participate really on one. I try to make a picture of everything, but it's really hard at this time to do this. It's the same with Corona, Some say this, some say this, and you don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
In the end, you can only believe in yourself, I think. But sometimes it's hard to just so that you don't get touched by the things who are sad, So
yeah,
that's this week was really like, I don't know, like a little bit. I was not in a good mood because of it changed a lot because of all this. I'm sitting here all the time. I'm working in the radio station. I'm sitting since 9 months here in my in my house. I'm sure I meet with friends, with my girlfriend and stuff. But I was never as much alone as I am these times.
Yeah.
So everything.
it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're going to talk and touch on some of the topics that you're bringing up in terms of the energy of the collective consciousness and how sometimes it can influence us, and sometimes we can feel like we don't know what to believe and what to feel, and those energies are there and they do affect us. And then of course the isolation during COVID, for a lot of people it's challenging because it brings up feelings of loneliness and separation, and so we're going to cover some of those topics, how to manage that.
And there's so much uncertainty too.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now. Like
What did you say?
So much uncertainty.
Uncertainty, yeah. So sure, yeah. It's really like there's nothing to rely on, nothing really.
It can feel like that.
Yeah. In the outside, I mean, even in my job, it's always changing. Is something I'm used to it, and I can be alone very good, but 8 months now, it's like a really hard, how you say it in English, it's like really hard to manage after such a long time.
Yeah. So it's a testing time for people. And
challenge. It's a challenge. Yeah.
A challenge,
yes.
Truly. And an opportunity.
Yes.
And an opportunity.
Yeah. For instance, one of the things that Dexter just mentioned, which is a great opportunity, is to work with the fear of the uncertainty and the unknown, to be okay with that, to be okay with the uncertainty so that we can be more present and not worry or project into the future what might or might not happen. So that's a gift in many ways, to live in the uncertainty and the unknown with faith and being grounded and trusting in the process of life. And we'll work on that today.
Cool.
Shall we start with a little practice?
Yes, the song practice?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to get up for this?
Yes.
Okay, we'll stay sitting down. That said, we encourage you to stand up.
Yes.
Stand up.
Yes, we'll stay sitting down just so you can see us.
Yes. So This practice is a Qigong practice, and it's a great way of resetting the energy. So, for instance, when we feel like there's this turmoil in the collective consciousness, there's so many energies, and those energies are afraid of what might happen, or what might not happen, and the fear of uncertainty and of the unknown is triggered. We can start to feel that within ourselves. It can trigger our own fears, and we can start to just not feel grounded and good in our body and focused on our intentions and our goals. So this practice is basically, it's going to help the chi, the energy, reset to a state of balance, of harmony, of peace. And so by practicing it, we reset. So in those moments, it's a way of resetting the body and the energy.
Mm-hmm. And it's a practice that we learn from
Qigong
Master Teresa.
Teresa, yes, from Master Wu. It's an ancient tradition in China of Qigong, and the originator is Master Wu.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's very simple. You inhale, you bring your arms up. You exhale, you bring them down. And as you do, begin to focus on your head. And as you focus on your head, mentally set yourself relax.
Relax. And move your hands nice and slow. Too fast and you're just in your analytical mind still. Nice and slow, and you're activating your subconscious and your emotional systems, energy systems.
Then move to your neck. And tell your neck, relax.
Relax.
Now moving to your shoulders. Relax.
Relax.
Your chest. Relax.
Relax.
Your arms, your hands, your fingers. Relax.
Relax.
Your abdomen. Relax.
Relax.
Your back, upper, middle, and lower back.
Relax.
Your pelvic floor and your hips. Relax.
Relax.
Your legs, your feet, your toes.
Relax.
Relax. And then relax your whole body. Keep feeling the energy relaxing. All of the muscles of your body relaxing as the energy moves and flows smoothly and freely. And now we're going to add another component. We're going to breathe in and breathe out as we go from body part to body part. So you're continuing with the movement of your hands, really connecting to the chi, to the energy. And inhale through your head and exhale through your head. Moving the chi, the energy through your head. Your neck, breathe in, breathe out. Your shoulders, breathe in, breathe out. your chest. Breathe in, breathe out. Your arms, your hands, your fingers, breathe in, breathe out. Your abdomen, breathe in, breathe out. Your back, upper, middle, lower, breathe in, breathe out. Your pelvis and your hips, breathe in, breathe out. Your legs, your feet, your toes, breathe in, breathe out. Your whole body, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Your whole body, breathe in, and breathe out. And one more thing, we're going to continue with the hands. Feeling the chi, feeling the energy as we move our hands up and down. Inhale and exhale, and now on the exhale we're going to make the sound. So inhale. One more time. Inhale. And take a moment, close your eyes. And if you're sitting or if you're standing, feel yourself on the ground, supported, grounded, through your feet, connected. If you're sitting, connect also to your chair, feeling supported, grounded, and really relaxed. Feel yourself in your body, completely present, contained and supported by your body. Even say, my body supports me. My body contains me. I'm fully conscious and aware of being supported and contained. And you can open your eyes. This is a really nice practice to kind of like slow down the thoughts, come back to the body, feel yourself in the present moment so that all that energy that is spent thinking and projecting the worst case scenarios about COVID or any other situation in life, we can recall that energy and just let the energy be balanced and harmonious. Do you have anything to add to it? Okay. How was it for you?
Yeah, very nice feeling, like very soft, and I got a little bit more down. I mean, not down, but entspannt. I don't know the English word right now. So it was relaxing, relaxing. So I got a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, good, good. Slowing down, right? The energy.
Yes. Yeah.
Good, good. So we're going to just show a few slides right now of what it looks like when we're reacting to external environmental stimuli and stress. Basically, the stress, it's called the stress response. That said, it's really a stress reaction rather than response to, you know, to external stress.
Yeah, we could call a response a more intentional and conscious and focused form of reacting to something, and we would call reaction as a more like emotional and unconscious way to react to something.
Like an automatic, subconscious, actually, moment.
Yeah. So let's look at some of these reactions to get in touch with them, because this is what we're
And
hoping
to make
show.
light of it, to make it fun, and you know, not be so judgmental about those reactions.
Yeah, exactly. Waiting for election results, or sometimes humans feel this way.
Yeah.
And we have our vices.
Coping mechanisms, addictions.
Could be TV, could be exercise even, could be smoking.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Or coffee.
And sometimes life has this feeling like this.
Yeah, it's like we're on this roller coaster and we don't know what's happening. Or when it's gonna end.
We should wait a little because there might be a delay.
Yes.
So many things going on, and life is sort of taking us away, and we're not really in control.
So we want to help you recall your energy so that, you know, the coping mechanisms that bring about imbalances in our lives, right? So if you think about the pendulum swing, sometimes we go from one extreme and then to the other extreme. So for instance, if we feel a lot of fear or we feel uncertain, we might use a coping mechanism that is not balanced, that doesn't keep the other aspects of ourselves and our life in harmony. And so that's going to bring another imbalance. And so a lot of people are caught in that pendulum swing, and we want to help you see that and then come back to the center, to the middle way.
Do you want to play this one?
I mean, this is kind of what it feels like when we're in fear.
Sometimes you can even like feel this and hear
it
in your system.
Yeah, the fear.
Yeah, in your stress and survival parts, and even in your root chakra, which is the chakra that governs stress and survival. It can literally feel this way. A subconscious background to their life, to their morning or their afternoon. It's this constantly, what am I missing? What problem is going to happen next?
Yeah, what is it that I can't control? What is it that, you know, so all those subconscious projections can be going on, and they can lead to an energy of fear being in the system without us necessarily recognizing that it's there.
And creating a sort of waiting for the shoe to drop dynamic. And this is a really helpful metaphor. If you're in a room and there's someone else in the other room, and they take their shoe off, and it falls on the floor, right? You hear one fall, and what do? The mind, it's okay, the next one's going to fall next. And you're waiting to hear that sound. And we do that. We wait for the shoe to drop with problems. It's like one problem happens, and then we're waiting for another problem to happen. And another, and we can get caught up living in that state until we realize we're doing it, and then we can sort of realize we're doing it and make another choice to do something else, which could be, for example, looking forward to the next wonderful opportunity rather than waiting for the shoe to drop of a potential problem.
And creating it, having the energy to create it, that opportunity, to take the steps towards that opportunity, which is not available if we're thinking of the next worst thing that could happen.
Yeah, because then we're in a negative process of creativity.
Exactly. In addition to that, and that's going to address what you brought up in terms of the length of time, the duration. So if we feel like, oh, it's been like that for 8 months, and there's a part of the system, our root chakra, that projects that it's going to be like that forever. So we can live in this idea, not recognizing that it's happening, that the situation we're in is going to continue. And that can bring about a lot of stress. Because if we imagine that a non-optimal situation that we're in can continue throughout time, then we're going to feel a sense of desperation and being out of control. Instead of realizing, oh, right now it is the way it is because, we haven't really understood how to manage it and contain it as a society as a whole. And as we do, and as solutions are implemented, then things can, let's say, not necessarily go back to normal. That said, new things can come up. We can actually have better processes of management where we can still be social and interactive with others, and where the risks that we have right now are not there. So that's important to realize that can be going on, and then to manage that, to recall the energy to the present moment. This is going on right now, and I'm going to take steps so that in the future I can see, I have a vision that I can again have relationships, I can again be social, I can again have those things that are meaningful and important to me. Rather than imagining forever subconsciously it's going to continue like that. And that would be very painful. If we were isolated, we would feel a lot of pain in regards to that.
And we can even, in a sense, the part of us that remembers, oh, it's been going on for 1 month, oh, 2 months, oh, 3 months, or 4 months, we can even forget that, so that it feels like it just started yesterday, or there's no memory of it at all. There's no process of compiling this
and counting
extended pain.
Yeah,
right? We can forget the pain.
That's true, and be present. Today it's like that, and we're working towards a solution and resolution, so that tomorrow can be a new day, and every new day can be a new energy, rather than the same continuation of 8 months of the same energy and frustration.
Shall we?
Yeah. So now we're going to basically share some of the conscious relaxation responses when we get stressed. So instead of reacting to external stimuli and environmental changes, we can respond with relaxation. We can stay relaxed. So the first one is to open our hearts in those moments. Because what happens is that when we get triggered in fear, we go right to the first energy center, the root chakra. We tense there, and it prevents the energy from flowing up our central channel into our upper chakras that can inform us that it's not such a bleak, basically vision of reality. It's not like, oh, everything is terrible. It's like, yes, there's these things happening right now, and things will change, and there's also a lot more happening than what we can experience when we're in the root chakra and when we're in fear. So would you like to guide this practice?
Sure.
The relaxed smile surrender.
So let's imagine, if you close your eyes or even keep them open, it can be interesting to do practices with your eyes open. And allow yourself to imagine that you are thinking about something that has been bugging you. or some pain or frustration, something that you would usually react to. And just feel what that feels like in your body. What does it feel like, that pain, and that stress, and that reaction? And see if you can feel it without being averse to it. Experience the discomfort, the pain as just sensory stimuli, just sensory information. And accept yourself for however it is that you do feel. Forgive yourself and allow it all to be okay. And bring your attention to the area in your heart. The center of your chest. Just bring your attention there, and your energy will follow. And feel what it feels like to hold your attention there. Focusing only on your heart.
And if you would like you to go deeper, you can breathe into this space and feel what you feel there.
And if you'd like to visualize a light emanating from there, shining, if you can even feel that light or the warmth of that light, just focusing in your heart for a while. Living and breathing and being in your heart. And see if you can feel how your heart opens as you smile. Smiling and continuing to focus only in your heart. Feeling it open, expanding. Breathing into it. Listening to it. Getting a taste for what it feels like to be in your heart. If your eyes are open, see if you can close your eyes and stay in your heart. If your eyes are closed, see if you can open your eyes and stay in your heart. See if you can stay in your heart as you look around. And then stand up and sit down again. And see if you can stay in your heart as you do that. You stand up for a bit, staying in your heart. You sit down, staying in your heart. Feeling what it feels like to live life from your heart. And taking a few relaxing breaths. And returning to the presentation in the present moment, remaining in your heart.
So this is one way that we can deal with the fears, the stresses, the thoughts when the mind gets busy and we start projecting and imagining a lot of things about what might happen in the future, or interpreting the present moment from our own interpretations, meaning our own recordings and our belief systems. So when we open our hearts, we come back to our bodies, we come back to the present, and we're more able to operate from consciousness, not from beliefs, not from fears, not from imaginings. So we find that that's a really effective practice to bring you back to life.
Yeah? And so something else to do, and it's not something we do often. Speaking generally, people don't generally consistently go out of their way to reach out to their quality relationships, to the people who they have the most vulnerable and connected relationships with. Sometimes, rather than being creative in our process of relationship, we give in to our own feelings of feeling like maybe it's not worth the effort, or maybe and other fears that we might have in the context of relationship and of being vulnerable. And now where people are quarantined is an excellent time to reach out to people who you felt you've had a deep connection with in the past, even if you haven't reached out to them or they haven't reached out to you, and see if you can rekindle those deep and vulnerable quality aspects of those relationships. To connect to them on a deep level.
Mm.
And to do so gradually to see if they want to connect at that level. And that can include being open and honest about feelings and what you're learning, the most deep lessons that you might be learning in your life, and the deepest philosophies that you're learning.
So once again, this connection, these relationships can help you feel more grounded, more safe, more at peace, more at ease with challenges and stresses during COVID, and generally speaking too. So that any feeling, any misapprehension about being lonely, about essentially feeling separate or feeling lack of anything that we might be feeling in those moments, so that can be dissolved. Because when we connect with someone else, there's a deep sense of actually oneness and wholeness and well-being and support, and that can help restore and realign your system to that reality, to the reality that you're not all alone, that not everything is wrong, that things are not the way that your mind might be projecting them to be, and that there are other people having also those experiences, and you can help them and they can help you.
And also, you can be a leader in that process as if you're maintaining a garden. One second. As if you're maintaining a garden, you don't expect the plant to water itself or to prune itself. And so with relationships with others, sometimes it requires our leadership and our discipline and commitment to grow a relationship that is really wonderful and beautiful. And that means us watering it and us nurturing it, even when it seems like the other person, like a plant, is not doing anything. And oftentimes those can grow into beautiful relationships. And now is a great time for that.
Mm.
So, trusting in the process of life, that this process that includes the damage being done to the environment and different animal species around the world, and pollution and COVID and people who are suffering and corruption in politics and in elections and corporate greed, all of the and artificial intelligence, all of the things that humanity is facing now that are so much more complicated than 200 years ago. To face all of it with a sense of faith in the process of life. Whether your faith goes to spirit or the universe or your soul. That being said, it's good to have faith in something outside of yourself, greater than yourself. If it simply goes towards the essence of all things, perhaps the definition of God being, not that we would ever try to define God, that which is in and it is everything. To be able to see everything that's unfolding as having some higher purpose, and to have and to see it all as ultimately compassionate, and to see it all with humility, saying that we might not understand it, and certainly great things can come from it and are. For example, how else can humanity learn to truly love their neighbor, to truly care for others, if not by having leaders who do not care about others? How else can humanity learn to be kind and generous with each other?
And to value our relationships with the people in our lives.
Without leaders who don't do that, to show us what not to do. And how else can a whole nation learn that the process of greed and hatred and judgment is not effective without trying it out? To see ourselves as in a process of transformation like that is leading to a beautiful end result. And to feel that we will be cared for and supported in that process by the forces that be. And to see it all as a beneficial process that is loving and compassionate and wonderful beyond our comprehension, and to look for that.
Which is challenging in times of COVID. We can feel victimized by this process. We can feel like why would we choose something like that? Why would we want to be part of a process that feels so threatening and brings about so much fear and uncertainty, and where people are losing their lives? It can be challenging to hold that space where we realize the opportunity and the gift that COVID is providing us as a species. So we can't see it now because we're in the middle of it. And that's, oftentimes I think the expression is 2020 hindsight. In hindsight,
Yeah, hindsight is
hindsight
20/20.
is 2020. So right now we can't see it, and we can actually, if we meditate, if we remain conscious, if we trust in the process of life, if we have faith, then we can start to kind of get insights about the greater, process that we're in right now, and why it's useful, why it's going to help us evolve as a species.
And when we say that this can all be for some greater good, we are in no way diminishing any suffering or pain or loss that anyone has experienced during this time. We understand people have lost income and loved ones, and we are in no way diminishing that. And we are saying that in the process of humanity's evolution and our soul's evolution, that perhaps all of this is playing some role, and that those who we may have lost will live on, and that the income that we may have temporarily lost will return in some other, if not as income, in some other way. Mm-hmm. And that throughout that whole process, we're learning invaluable lessons about how to surrender and how to have faith, and how to feel inner peace in the madness.
Yeah, how to stay conscious, how to remain in a state of energy that is optimal while the external world and external circumstances change, so that our state of being is not dependent on what happens outside of ourselves.
It's like that, the quote from that show, he says, one guy is complaining about how his mom suffered and lost her memory, and how painful it was. And the guy was saying, well, there's no God, because if there was a God, my mother would never have gone through that, because God would have helped her.
Wake her.
Yeah, and while we don't support the views of everything presented in that show called Waco, because it represents some extremists, this was a nice thing. The leader of that cult said, maybe suffering's the point, so we can learn to be easy in the spirit. Mm-hmm. And there's some truth in that. There's some wisdom there. There's so much we can gain from every experience, and to learn to be easy and to trust in the spirit of life. I don't know if there's any lesson that could lead to more happiness and freedom and inner peace. So I think, love, rather than trying to go through the rest of it with the time we have, I think maybe we do a quick process of affirmation with trusting in the process of life. Mm-hmm. Then maybe we tell that next story.
Okay.
Yes?
Let me just check this full screen.
And was there a question?
Good explained.
Oh, thank you.
Really, I understood everything.
Good. Thank you.
I like that, really.
So let's do a quick practice. Relax your shoulders. And love, please go ahead and interrupt at any time. Okay. And allow yourself to just feel and say, I trust in the process of life.
And notice if there's any part of your system that is reacting to that is not in alignment with that. Whether you feel that as tension, whether you feel that as contraction, whether you hear thoughts whether you feel energy moving and saying, no, actually, I don't trust because I don't like this, I don't like that. How can I trust in the process of life with what's happening? Just be aware of that as you align yourself, as you choose to align yourself with that reality where you trust in all parts of your being in the process of life. So maybe center yourself in your heart, and from that space, from within your heart, connecting to what it feels like to trust, to open your heart to life, to open your heart to yourself, to trust and to feel that you can trust in the process of life in your heart.
So slowing down and really feeling it. I put my love and my trust into the process of life. And you can even say, if you want to, use whatever words you want. I put my love and faith into the process of life, Spirit, and God. I feel love and support from the process of life, from Spirit, and from God.
And if it comes to you to say it and to feel it, say, I love my life, and connect to that. Connect to all the parts of your being that feel like you love your life. I love my life.
I love my life.
Feel that. Your life is so much more than what your mind imagines it to be. So let yourself feel your love for yourself, for your life. I love my life.
Usually the life that we refer to, that we have a hard time loving, is like this folder where we hold on to all our problems and what bad things might happen.
And it's difficult to love it.
And
that's not your life.
That's not our lives. Funny enough, the mind can look at anything and see it as, oh, that's my life. So
for instance, we can feel, if we feel limited by COVID and we can't, see our friends, or we can't do certain things, or we're not receiving money, or, we have people we love who are sick, we can feel like I don't like my life, or I hate my life. And so if you connect to really just loving yourself and your life, all aspects of your life, even the things you can't control, or the things that seem quote unquote bad.
And we're going to add something to this now, because it's very worthwhile. Feeling the energy of forgiveness. First of all, to yourself. Forgiving yourself. If you may have had expectations that you would be able to manage this time differently, that you would have more connection and relationship with others, or receive more money, or be more in control, or there was another one.
That things would be different, that you would get different results.
So forgive yourself. I just say to yourself, I totally and completely forgive and accept myself now for whatever is happening and however life is.
And let the energy become free, liberated, that energy that's tied up either judging or expecting or reacting to unmet expectations. Let it flow out of you. As you say, I totally and completely forgive myself.
And then moving on to I totally and completely forgive everyone. So forgiving your friends who may not have reached out to you, and partner who may not have supported you in the way you wanted, and politicians who might be making self-centered decisions.
Forgiving any and all decisions that were made individually and collectively in regards to COVID or any other situation, just choosing to let that energy from the past liberate and flow out of you. I totally and completely forgive any and all people and situations that bring me pain.
Forgiving anything that brings you pain. Forgiving COVID, the actual virus.
But there's no aversion, there's no energy of aversion or judgment against COVID, realizing that it's also part of a greater process that we might not understand. So I totally and completely forgive COVID.
And forgiving God and Spirit and the universe and even life and your soul. Forgiveness everywhere. Feel that. See if you can feel forgiveness.
Maybe you feel it as your body being more open, more relaxed, your mind being with less thoughts, your energy feeling more harmonious, balanced, expanded outward rather than contracted inward, holding on to the past.
And just remaining relaxed and continuing to listen to this, because your relaxation, your letting go, your surrender, that's what's most important here. So just staying in that state while we tell a story, a funny story, to wrap up the workshop. And please take no offense with this story. We don't mean it offensively to anyone. It's just a funny story, and it's helpful too if you apply the teaching.
So the story is a real story of a shaman in Colombia who works with many different native plants and also civilizations to raise the consciousness of the planet and of each individual who comes to him for healing. And he takes people into the mountains and helps them go through a process of really clearing the layers of ego and the layers of pain that they're holding on to. And so this shaman that I've personally met once told me the story of a man, a businessman, who was diagnosed with cancer. And this person was very stressed. They were very afraid, and they didn't know what it meant and if they were going to be able to heal. And so they went to this shaman and they said, I'm very stressed and I'm very afraid and I don't know what to do. I have cancer. Can you help me? And the shaman, sat with him and, asked him to sit and to relax. And he said the first thing to do is to relax your anus. And he wasn't joking. He laughed because he's kind of a funny guy and a very down-to-earth, grounded guy. And he said, the first thing for you to do is to relax, in that area, in your root chakra, because there's so much tension and the energy is just like in that area, not moving. And so the beauty of this story and the lesson that we get from it is really, and in yoga, that's one of the first things that they teach, to relax the pelvic floor, to really realize like how much tension we have in that area and to learn to let that go, to learn to let the energy flow, because you may know or may not know if you've participated in our workshops before, that the energy flows upward through our central channel, and that if the root chakra is tense because of fear, then the energy cannot move up into the upper chakras, and therefore if there is a stagnation of energies, negative energies, for instance the energy of cancer in the system, because there's no flow of energy, it cannot basically generate and support healing. So that was the very first step, is to relax that area of our system so that the energy can flow, and the energy knows what to do. It's intelligent.
So let's try this out.
Mm-hmm.
Relax that area of your system. Relax your pelvic floor. The muscles you pee and poo with. Just let them relax. A slight expansion. Let gravity in there, if you know what I mean.
Maybe not notice as you do what happens in your body. Does your abdomen relax? Do you breathe easier? Is your heart more open? Are you more expanded?
When you do this, that energy channel, it's like a hose that's been tightened, squeezed. If you relax in that area, that hose, it becomes unsqueezed or uncrimped. And so now the water or the energy, the chi, can flow. See if you feel that splashing up into your chest and into your shoulders and neck and even the top of your head. Oh, the amount of sensation that you can release into your body with this practice.
So now, instead of being contracted inward into your world and into the past, because that's what happens when we contract, we hold on to the past, we hold on to what has happened. When we open, we expand, and we let this energy flow. Now we're expanding into the field. So we're expanding into the present moment and the future, creating ourselves from the present moment, rather than continuing to experience and revalidate the past.
Mm-hmm.
So open up. Relax those muscles. See what you feel. Do you go, whoo? Do you feel that? Do you feel those energy tingling? Do you feel a release where it's like your arm just wants to like vibrate? Or this can happen as energy begins to flow that's been constricted. And see how subtle you can go with the relaxation. See how subtle you can go with the sensitivity. And the coughing is normal. It's a sign of energy movement also.
So in the throat chakra, things clearing. Some people yawn, some people cough, sometimes burp, as the energy flows up and out of their system. And you may notice maybe where energy might be inclined to flow.
Sometimes some farts. You had a shaman, didn't you have a spiritual teacher who would just during meditation
During
go
meditation,
like this and make a big fart?
Yeah. And for, I mean, especially in those traditions, it's just normal. It is what it is. Energy is moving, and things that have been constricted and held in are just being released.
And so I think with this note, I feel we'll say goodbye. And
maybe take a question.
One question? Okay.
Yeah, so this is a kind of like an overview of, some of the things that you can do in those moments. There's many more. If you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, maybe you have the opportunity to do some of our meditations. And there's other ways that you can manage the stress through those meditations. And today we shared some of the ways in which you can clear the energy of stress and manage how it's been influencing you.
Mhm.
Does anyone have any question?
I think it's really neat to have like these shortcuts, you know. Sometimes when you are in the daily life or working and there's so much information, just take just a little moment and to take and to do all this what you just did, you know. Sometimes it just takes 5 minutes and you get up and it feels different, you know.
Yes.
So at the beginning of the workshop, if you saw on the slide with the Qigong, we said reset. So it's exactly what you're saying. It's resetting.
Yeah. And even better, if you've heard of the expression, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if we take 5 minutes in the morning, in the midday, and then in the evening, before all the stressful stuff comes up, and we do things like this, it changes everything. It creates a ripple effect of change, of how we interpret things, of then the decisions we make, and so then we make different choices and we get different results, and it's amazing how just applying our attention and energy to some of these practices that we've shared can change our entire life over time.
It's really very neat for me, like the way you teach getting into the heart space, you know, and go from that outside, you know, in the space outside it. I really love the way you do that. It's really inspiring, and yeah, it really gives me something, you know.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I love that, really.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, and it's wonderful to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you, and wonderful too.
Thank you. Is this an okay wrapping up point?
Yeah. And the next workshop, well, we have a repeat of this workshop on Insight Timer next week on Friday, and at the same time. And then the next workshop is going to probably be 2 weeks from now on Transcendent Love.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. So we'll talk about, and it'll be a free workshop again. We'll talk about Transcendent Love, egoless, unconditional love.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Love.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I love that slide.